Hi, I'm Cheryl and welcome to my sewing room. I'm going to demonstrate a technique that's really easy to do, and it's decorative top stitching that you can use on a variety of small projects. I wouldn't recommend you do this on a big old quilt because it would be very hard on your back and your shoulders, but it's really easy on a small project like a table runner, a pillow, something very, very simple. So let's take a look at this table runner that I've done this decorative top stitching on. Now I know this looks really complicated, but trust me, it's not. So if you want to just make a plain table runner and spruce it up just a little bit, you can do this. Or maybe you've already got a table runner that you purchased that was plain. You can do this same technique on there. So let me put this away and let me show you how I did this, okay? So now, the paper that I'm using in this demonstration comes on rolls, all right? It's very thin paper because we're actually going to stitch on top of this paper. You're going to draw a pattern, and I'll show you how to draw the pattern. It's really easy. And so you need to make sure it's thin. You can buy this at a hardware store in the paint department. This is something that painters use to mask off areas that they don't want the paint to get on. It's $2 or $3 for this roll, and it'll last you a very long time because there's a lot of paper on here. So let me show you what I did. Here is my drawing. Okay, now this particular drawing is 8 inches from top to bottom, and it's about 3.5 inches wide. Now you can make your pattern any length or any width that you want, but keep in mind when you're drawing your vine, because all I did was draw a little S curve or a backward S. When you're drawing this curve, you want to make sure that up here at the top it's going in this direction, right? But down here at the bottom, it goes in the opposite direction. So you want to make sure that it does that. So because we're going to be having multiple pieces of this, and those ends need to match up so that it'll go into the next piece really easily. So start up here, draw a line, and I preferably use pencil so that if you don't like your curve, you can erase it a little bit and fix it. And just draw that little S curve. So when I get to about to the middle of this paper, I begin to go in the other direction. Then go over about a 1/2 inch or so and draw the next curve. Remember, if you don't like how it looks, you can erase it and fix it as you go along. Now, here's my little leaf, and I have this little tape on there so that I wouldn't lose it during the demonstration. How I did my leaf was I took some paper and I folded it in half and I drew my little leaf shape, unfolded it so that it would be symmetrical. Okay, so that's why I did it like that. That's how I did mine. Now, I'm not an artist. I cannot draw very well at all, but anybody can draw this. Now, here, this point here on the leaf, you want to overlap it on the vine. So overlap it, place it down, and I'm placing it in a direction like it would grow, how they all kind of grow up and out like that. So that's what you want to do. Then with a pencil, trace around it. Okay? Now you'll notice that I've left that open there. I'll talk about that in a moment. Then go over here and go place the second one somewhere in the other little curved area and overlap the point into the vine. And again, trace around it with a pencil. Now, here was that line that I drew. Erase that so that you won't stitch over it, so that it's open like this. Okay, so erase that part out and leave it open. Now this is just one. Like I said, this is 8 inches long. For the table runner that I showed you at the beginning, I needed to make 10 of these. Now you're not going to draw 10. I'm going to show you a really quick way to make the 10 that you need. I needed 5 going down each side. So you're going to cut off sheets, however many you need. Cut them off like this, and then place your template in there. And then I usually place it towards one edge, and then put a pin or a paper clip to hold all of them together, okay? To hold all the layers together, because it will shift when we start doing the next step, and you don't want it to do that. So you need something to hold it together. Then you're going to go to your sewing machine, and you're going to remove the thread out of your sewing machine needle. And when you're at the sewing machine, I want you to enlarge your stitch just a little bit. So enlarge it, because you're going to start stitching through these lines with no thread. And what you're doing is you're perforating this, and you're making duplicates of the pattern all at the same time. And the reason why you perforate it is so that it's easy to tear off later after you've done your stitching. And this will all make sense as we go along. So go ahead, stick all of them in there, and I have stitched through all 10 layers, so it'll go through. Then take it out of the machine, and once you've done it, you're going to have all these copies that you've made. And here's one. And see those perforation lines? I hope you can see them. There's your pattern. So you don't need to draw 10 of these, or however many you need to do. You just need to draw one that is your master copy. So now that you've got all your copies made, take your table runner. Okay, and this is just a sample here. And like I said, I did 2 rows. It depends on the width of your table runner. Maybe you're going to need to do 3 rows. But go ahead and start placing your paper. I usually start anywhere from a 1/2 inch to 1 inch from the end. So you want to leave a little space in there. And go ahead and pin the first one down, and then here, let me rearrange this. You're going to take the second one and place it down. Now you remember how I said that these will match up? And it does. Remember, this first piece went that way. The second piece is going out that way, so they match up. Okay, now don't worry if these lines don't match up perfect, because it's easy to just stitch right into that. Okay, then you would pin your next one down and pin around all 4 corners so that it stays down. Once you've gone down the full length of your table runner, and let's say this piece of paper went over the edge down there at the end, what I do is I will put little pencil marks here to tell me where I need to stop. So you might be stopping anywhere in the design. Try to stop where the vine is and not so much in the middle of the leaf, okay? If possible. So when you begin your stitching, this tells you when to stop. So let's go up here. Now you're going to start stitching, and I will go down one side first, then I'll come back up and go down the next side. So you're going to start here. Do a few stitches back and forth to secure those stitches, and then stitch right on top of those perforations. When you get to a corner or a point, leave your needle down, lift up your presser foot, then turn your table runner. You'll be doing a little bit of turning, and then continue stitching on down. And then remember, when you get to the next point or corner, leave the needle down when you turn your fabric. And you're going to continue stitching all the way down that side. Now remember, when you get here to the end, leave your needle down, lift up your presser foot, turn your table runner, stitch across here, And remember, leave the needle down when you start and stop. Leave the needle down over here. Turn your table runner. And now start going down the other side. And when you get back to where you started, then just go ahead and stitch across here. Okay? Stitch back and forth a few times to secure your stitching. Then you're going to begin tearing this paper off. Now I've already torn some of this off, and as you can see, it comes off really easy. So go ahead and take all of the paper off. Now sometimes you might get a little piece of paper that's stubborn in there. I always take a pair of tweezers and I just pull those little pieces out. It's real easy. So tear off all of the paper. Then go and put on your next row of paper templates and center it and repeat the same process. Now when you're stitching on here, you want to shorten your stitch a little bit. And the reason behind doing that is when you begin to tear this paper off, it'll come off really easy and it won't pull your stitches out. So that's the reasoning behind doing that. So let's look at the finished one more time. Okay, so isn't that pretty? So like I said, it really dresses up a very plain table runner. This is a really simple pattern to do. Now I want to show you one other pattern that I have out there. This is a rounded table runner. I've just got one piece of fabric with a little ruffle on the edge, but I want you to focus on the top stitching. They're little heart designs. So in the other video, and the link is appearing right about now in the upper right hand corner, that'll take you to that video to show you how to not only do this heart pattern, but several other geometric style patterns. You don't have to be an artist to draw all this. It is really so easy. Now, I hope you try this decorative top stitching. Like I said, I don't recommend it on a big quilt at all. It's too much trouble trying to turn that big quilt. And now, to keep informed on all my future videos, and I have a lot of videos, a lot of them. And if you want to know what other videos the Sewing Room channel has, in the YouTube search window, when you're looking for videos, enter the Sewing Room channel. It will take you to my home page and you'll see all over 100 videos that are there. All types of things, quilts, table runners, little novelty projects, all types of things. And they're all mostly geared for beginners. So if you're new to sewing, this is a great channel to subscribe to. So to keep informed on all those future videos, subscribe. Click on one of the subscribe buttons. There's one down there in the lower right-hand corner. And then towards the end of the video, up here in the upper left, is a round picture of my face. Click on either one of those. YouTube will prompt you for your email address. Go ahead and enter that information, and the next time I have a new video, YouTube sends you a very brief email with a big button in the center. You click on it and it takes you directly to my latest video. I'm Cheryl. I'm so glad you came to my sewing room, and I'll see you next time, and happy sewing.